Genes are the basic units of genetic information storage, DNA segments which contain instructions about organisms, structures, and functioning. Those genes give us information about current features or may help us to predict possible traits in the future. The range of species, organisms, and individuals is due to the diversity of such features. Diversity that has been produced thanks to evolution. But could we turn the perspective upside down? Could we pull the thread and use our actual genetic information to discover the evolution mechanism itself and hence use them to gather information about our ancestors? Could we go back to our origins? Is evolution written in genes?
Some researchers state that one way to know how evolution works is studying the Y chromosome and the mitochondrial genome. In fact, it is said that all of our mitochondria come from one African woman that is known as mitochondrial Eve, in the same way that all Y chromosomes have their origin in a man named chromosomal Adam, who would be the ancestor of all of men in the world. The differences between the genes that are located in these structures let us know that evolution has occurred and show us how the environment participates in this process. But how? It is possible, for example, thanks to the divergences found in genes and alleles of Y chromosomes between isolated ethnic groups and races. So alleles have been changing in this sexual chromosome, giving special features to each population. That's why we are able to explain what original race or races we belong to if we study our genome.
Have you ever heard the saying that women are able to perceive colors better than men? Well, this actually has its origins in Pleistocene. Let's travel back in time.
The hunter-gatherer hypothesis argues that the sex evolved distinct psychological abilities to fit their prehistoric roles. Due to the division of labor, women specialize in gathering fruits, while men specialize in hunting. As a result, women had to distinguish very well slight variations in the color of fruits, in order to know if they were ripe enough to be collected, so as to discern the edible and non-edible ones. Nowadays, experiments have shown that women are better at discerning the saturation and tonality of colors, especially in the red zone. On a physiological level, differences in color vision between males and females might also arise as a consequence of sex-linked genetic mutations, in either the long wavelength or the medium wavelength cone photopigment coding genes. For the same reason, women develop a vision specialized in recognizing close-at-hand static objects such as wild berries, whereas the vision of men evolved to perceive better the movements of the prey.
Another way to observe the evolution of our genes are vestigial organs. Vestigial organs are macroscopic evidences of evolution that are said to be a clue of our past and, even, a hypothetical future. There are branches of biology that study the relation between genetics and all the changes that these organs had suffered. To understand these variations in phenotype, comparative and molecular biology analyze different species in relation to particular genes. For example, the presence of the coccyx and the appendix seem to be the remains of a primate past. It is said that the first one is the remain of a tail and the other one used to help in the digestion of plants rich in cellulose. Another evidence are the muscles of ears, which are actually atrophied in humans but were useful for us in the past to perceive sounds and threats in the atmosphere. And did you know that we had a third eyelid in the past? If you look yourself in a mirror, you will see an epithelial fold known as plicus semilunaris. Our body keeps a lot of secrets.
So, is evolution really written in genes? Partly yes, but it all depends on our concept of evolution. For instance, analyzing genealogical trees or macroevolutionary forces in populations, we might get information about the origin of a certain allele, or even speculate about the destiny and role of such allele in the future. Studying genes helps us writing history, theorizing possible events, hypothetical migrations along history, spotting common ancestors. On the other hand, we can discover the evolution track and even the variations a trait has suffered until our times. But there are things we cannot know, at least by now. Why some traits have thrived while others have disappeared is a process dependent of way too much external phenomenon which are obviously not registered in our genomes. For instance, cultural and social evolution has played an essential role in the biological evolution of the human being, which has as well altered significantly the evolution of the other species. Therefore, we could say that when talking about the evolutionary process, we are able to know how, but when it comes to find out why, it's not so easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Created using Powtoon.